So, why are you qualified? I have some exciting news for you. I don't care what others have told you, and if they haven't resonated with what I'm about to tell you, I want you to consider the idea of not listening to others who might not have your best interests at heart. You might be surprised to discover at this event that you are more qualified than an Ivy League graduate to teach. That's right. Today, you're going to discover why you are so qualified and learn what sets you apart from other classically trained instructors, and come to realize that you're accepting your call to train and help others, may be a part of your life's journey, and can not only be a part, but possibly the main reason for your being here. Helping and teaching others may be your purpose in this life. See, everyone that comes to this planet comes with a unique purpose, message, passion, and mission in life. When you embrace the idea that you have come here with sacred purpose, you can approach life differently, take a more active role in your life, having huge impact on the way your life unfolds for you, and live a better life, your best life, and make the world a better place. If you search within yourself, you have an inner knowing that there are some things that when you do them, that they come easily to you, and they may not come easily to others. You'll also find that people are attracted to you, to ask your advice on things, and these are not just clues. They are your higher self, that part of you that knows you have a mission, attracting your sacred work to you, which is your calling. Regardless of the life you've lived or didn't get to live, and in spite of the drama or trauma you've endured, your calling remains the same. And this is that part of you yearning to come out. Then there's those things that turn you on, light you up brighter than the sun. They're the things that you're supremely passionate about. Some activities that you engage on are actually fun. In fact, time just seems to not exist when you're doing those things that resonate with you, as well as those things that you're passionate about. You achieve the greatest degrees of personal satisfaction in the doing of those things. All of this indicates that you have huge potential. That is, you can line yourself up with your calling. And that's what we're doing here. Not only will you achieve a greater sense of doing the right thing, feeling satisfied that you're being true to yourself, even if you've second-guessed yourself, as so many of us do, but you can enjoy financial rewards by following the call and achieving your highest and best. I'm David M. Masters, representing St. Paul's Free University, and today we're putting the naysayers on notice, including those voices inside of you that keep you from rising to achieve your highest and best. There are those who secretly do not want to see you succeed, and they'll whine, complain, and try to tell you that you're not worthy, do not have what it takes, you're undeserving, don't have an expensive education, or a family name that commands respect everywhere you go. So you're not good enough. And what you're hearing when people try to block your special gifts and abilities is not even about you. It's about the social programming which they and their parents have been exposed to since birth. And you can't blame them for that, because the rich and successful people don't want you encroaching on their quality of life. They see you as servants, put here on this earth to do their bidding. And most of us fall for it every time. But you are awakening. If only for a moment, you will start to see that things are not always as they appear. Inside you is a teacher who longs to reach out and help others. Who better to help them than someone like you who's actually been there? You don't get your education out of a book. No, you know what works, and you know what doesn't work the hard way. Think about it. Who would you rather learn from? Someone who's leading you through the course material to get a paycheck? Or someone who knows the material better than anyone from the inside out? I know what you mean. I took a college business class from a math teacher. That was brutal. Not that the math teacher wasn't qualified. He had impressive degrees and tenure, but he had no real experience in the field of business. From that point on, I knew it made a difference. So I sought only to take classes from teachers who were the most qualified. And the most qualified does not mean the most educated. If so, your life would not make sense until you embrace your teaching mission. No experience necessary? Okay, let's say you've gone to college and received your degree, which authorizes you to teach a college course. You are authorized to teach students anything you know nothing about. Anything you now have experience with personally using the textbook selected by the college you're working for. Now don't get me wrong. I have a huge respect for academics and academia. I mean no disrespect here. I'm just saying that I, taking responsibility for my own education, if given the option, would rather take a course or a class from someone with real experience with the topic at hand. I have such a thirst for knowledge that you might just find me studying the same topic with two different instructors so that I can get a full spectrum understanding of the topic if I'm truly intrigued by the topic or feeling somewhat passionate about the subject. So you might not need experience to teach. And thank God we have teachers that are capable and willing to teach subjects they have no experience with, because we, those who want and need access to this data and information that we would not otherwise have access to, can learn about these things. So if you're a formally trained educator, God bless you. But today we're talking about a different kind of teacher. Those who are qualified either by experience or sacred calling, who may not have been formally trained to teach others. In this respect, experience is absolutely necessary and qualifies you in ways that no one else could possibly learn from a textbook or college course. This is for you. I'm talking to you right now. You have experience in a particular topic that no one would have unless they've lived the life that you've lived and experienced what you have. And there's very little chance of that. At this moment in time, you do not have a certificate from a university authorizing you to teach the subject which you are clearly an expert on. And you're not having this single piece of paper is preventing you from going forth and sharing your message with the world. And if you decided to forego the certificate and answer your calling anyway, oh my God, here comes everyone you know trying to dissuade you from answering the call. You're not qualified. You're not a teacher. You didn't go to school. You're not worthy. For over 1,000 years, the university has been used as a method to separate academia from the working class. And no one would be more enthusiastic about using this method to determine the difference between these two classes of people than the academics. They'll be the first ones who attempt to disregard anything you might have to offer with a snide remark such as, "Who are you? Where did you go to school? You're nobody. You have no right to speak to this or anyone." While I, on the other hand... Then they reveal a laundry list of qualifications, degrees, and certificates, which I guess are supposed to imbue them with the ability to put you down or kick you to the curb for their superior. And you, well, you're nothing. So it's up to you whether you'll decide to let them intimidate you and keep you from answering your call, fulfilling your life purpose, sharing your message with passion, and accomplishing your mission. It's up to you. And your path to fulfilling your sacred mission may include putting off going forth with your message until you've accomplished your formal training. While university was previously thought of as an institution for young minds, now many people are deciding to take the task of getting their credentials later in life. And they do so in an effort to feel as though they could be counted among those who are worthy to speak, teach, or share. At the very least, having formal training does quell the objection that you might be uneducated or unworthy. But you don't have to do that today. You don't need to spend the next 4 to 10 years at university to make you feel better about sharing your message. You've received your training from a higher source, the highest source, which far surpasses academia. You have spent your whole life up to this point in time training like a master student. You've been in the trenches. You know what it's like to look the devil in the eye and to find a way to survive in spite of those odds that may have been stacked against you. Experience is necessary. In fact, it's your unique experience and perspective which is invaluable and cannot be taught in any school. So what is your message? Okay, welcome back. You heard me talk about your message as if there was some divine assignment which was bestowed upon you by God to fulfill here on earth, and the system is doing everything it can to keep you from sharing that message with the rest of the world. And it's been so effective that you probably can't even conceive of what your message might be right now. Let me tell you. It's likely that there was a time when you knew exactly who you were. When you were very young, you knew who you were and that you had a purpose to fulfill to make the world a better place. But by the time you were 6 or 7, our sociological system beat it out of you. And by now you can barely recognize your calling at all. Well, today is the day you take your life back. The life that is your birthright, the life you've come here to live. Today you start fulfilling your life's purpose and sharing your message to help others and make the world a better place. Today, you're going to honor your sacred call and start delivering your message, doing the work which you are uniquely qualified to do, and you're going to be making a difference in this world. But what is your message? Now, if you already know your message and you're in sync with your purpose, then hang on for a minute while we bring the rest of the class up to speed. For those of you who are having trouble understanding more about your message and your purpose, let's take a few minutes to get you synced up with your life's mission. First of all, you've spent your life training in the battlefield of life. So right here, right now, take out a piece of paper and a writing instrument. And those of you who are using tablets or computers, you can use them, but note the preference is to handwrite the following list. Draw a line down the middle of the page, and on the left-hand side of the page, make a list of all the drama and trauma episodes in your life that still leave a sore spot in the center of your stomach when you think of them. And for those of you who have already done this work, just go along through the process with us. You might be surprised to find that you uncover something new since the last time you performed this inventory. Write down life situations where you endured challenges, and today you find yourself, if not completely, for the most part, on the other side of the issue. Did someone make a promise to you? You trusted them and believed them, and then they stabbed you in the back? Write it down. Have you ever been victimized by someone who exerted power over you, intimidated you, or abused you? Write it down. Have you ever struggled with anything which you felt victim to, maybe substance abuse or self-sabotage? Has there been a time in your life when you've been your own worst enemy? What was that about? Write it down. Has there ever been a time when you felt like your whole world depended on you're doing this one thing and you dropped the ball? Write it down. Have you ever felt like a victim of injustice in the legal system? Have you been let down by your government? Have you ever felt like you've been betrayed by an organization or religious order? Write it down. Life is a battlefield. And you spent all this time training and fighting the battle. And if you think about it, you're surprised that you made it this far. I mean, anyone else who would have lived the life that you lived may not have made it this far. Why do you think that is? Could it be that you were divinely selected to help others who may be facing similar challenges in their life right now? Now, on the right-hand side of the page, across from your list of drama and trauma, create a positive affirmation about that episode. An example might be, in the left column, it says something like, I was a victim of sexual pressure from my boss. In the right-hand column, you might put something like, I survived and now possess knowledge and skills I didn't have before. Another example might be, I trusted my rabbi, priest, pastor, who lied to me, betrayed me, victimized me. The right-hand column might say something like, I now have a method to protect myself from abusive religious authority. You get the idea. And if you haven't made it all the way to the other side, consider what Richard Bach has to say. You teach best what you most need to learn. That's to say, hey, I don't have all the answers, but I will step out in faith, answer the call, and share what I've learned and continue to share new findings and learn from others while I am doing the work of recovering and helping others in the process. This is the beauty of organizations like the Anonymouses. I mean, they're not just for alcoholics. They serve people with challenges with drugs, sex, food, money issues, gambling, love seekers, low self-esteem, mental health issues, dysfunctional families, prescription meds, workaholics, obsessive behaviors, anger issues, cult members, and the list goes on and on. And all of these people are people helping people to the best of their abilities without judgment. People who have been there and hold a torch for others to find their way out of the darkness to the best of their abilities. It takes someone like you to start to do the work. And your work will grow as you reach out and help others in ways that are uniquely qualified just for you. For you. According to this list that you just made, you're an expert in these fields of life study. No one's saying that you have all the answers right now, but you can offer hope to those who are wondering if they can make it one more day under the same kind of pressure that you endured. You are the hero of your story and can be inspiration for others who are going down a path that is somewhat similar to yours. And if you can spread your message, in essence, sing your song, you'll find others humming along as you give them hope that maybe one day they too can be on the other side of this issue. You are amazing. When we come back, get ready to be empowered. Empowering you. Welcome back. Let's talk about your power. You have power within you which expresses itself every so often. So when do you know that you're operating in your power? You're in your power when you're involved in an activity that you're passionate about, when you're engaged in doing anything where you just sort of lose track of time. You know, those times when you're doing something and time just flies by. Everybody has some kind of activity which is a perfect vibrational frequency that matches who you are. And when you're there, you know it. In sports vernacular, they refer to this as being in the zone. When you're vibrating at your highest frequency and you're feeling powerful and even invincible. Okay, take out another piece of paper. Draw a line down the middle like we did in the last exercise. And at the top of the left-hand column, title this Power. Start writing down all the activities that when you're engaged in them, the time just slips away and you know you're operating in your power. When you're operating in your power, everything is in alignment. Your physiology starts working at peak performance. Your brain chemistry is in sync with the subject at hand. Your intuitive resources kick in and you are focused and present in the moment. Now take a few more minutes to write them down. Okay, at the top of the right column, title it Abilities. In this column, you're going to list all the things that you do that come really easily to you. This is where you're going to write down your gifts and special abilities. Now, they might seem like they're no big deal to you, but to others who've seen you in action, those who've witnessed your results, to them, you are amazing when you do that thing that you do. It might be baking a cake, or like my friend Kelly, she makes the best fudge on the planet. Maybe you're a chef, and people think the meals that you create are pure magic. Maybe you're a prayer warrior, a healer, or someone who has a keen, intuitive spider sense that lets you know that something unpleasant could be coming. And because of your heightened awareness, you can avoid some of the bad things that happen to other people. Maybe you have a knack for scientific research, a thirst for knowledge. Maybe you're a Dr. Dolittle or a dog whisperer. You might be a number person who loves crunching numbers and evaluating statistics all day long. How are you with kids? Are you especially gifted in interacting with children and encouraging them to do their best? Do people come to you for advice? Are you a good coach, consultant, or counselor? Do you have natural abilities and extensive knowledge about herbs, spices, natural scents, and homemade remedies? What was the last time that someone praised you and said, "That was amazing what you did right there"? What was that thing? Are you into alternative energy? Are you a freedom fighter? Do you find it easy to make a stand or reach out to help the underdog? Does your compassion for others have you volunteering to help others who are suffering, may not have the resources to take care of themselves? Are you an animal trainer, interior decorator, designer, event organizer? Are you a lover, a matchmaker? Do your gifts and abilities include hobbies like weaving, woodworking, painting, photography, playing a musical instrument, writing poetry, songs, or music? Are you a good dancer? Are you comfortable in front of a camera or a live audience? Possibly a potential model, actor, public speaker? Are you amazing at solving or putting together puzzles, working word games, or solving brain teasers? Your gifts and abilities could include sports. Have you ever received a certificate signifying your award-winning competency? Write it down. Once you have this inventory of power, gifts, and abilities, you can see that you're far more qualified at so many things than so many other people. And we're here to certify that you are uniquely qualified to share your message and to help others through your teaching, training, and understanding of material, which is about you, the life you've lived, and the blessing you can bring to others. Now you're starting to realize that what looked like chaos, tragedy, and trauma in the past was all divinely orchestrated to bring you here, to this time and place, where you start supporting others, your community, and the world as only you can.
Hi, my name is Amy, and I am a Reiki practitioner and an intuitive reader. And I am going to be talking today about intuition and how it could help you professionally as a skill set. Before I go into that, I just want to take the time to thank first St. Paul's Free University for putting on today's event. I always have fun taking part in these events, and also watching my other colleagues put on their talks and presentations. A lot of hard work and preparation goes into these events, and I always have a really wonderful time and learn a lot from my colleagues. So thank you too for tuning in today. Usually we are in a classroom type setting doing this, but under the circumstances, we want to make sure everybody is safe and we keep everybody safe and follow what the CDC wants us. So I hope all of you are remaining safe and sane. I've been just kind of taking this opportunity to really do some deep work on my intuitive skills and house projects, that kind of thing. So I'm trying to, put a silver lining on this situation. So let's just jump into it and talk about intuition and how it can help you. If you do a quick internet search, also, before I forget, I'm doing this out of my home, so if you hear dogs barking or doors opening, closing, laundry, it's kind of in the middle of the day and everybody's at home, self-sequestering, so if there's some noise or distractions, I apologize that I can't help that at the moment. So anyway, now getting back to intuition. If you do a quick internet search, you'll see psychology define intuition as, let's consult my notes here, a ability to acquire knowledge without inference or the use of reason. And basically what that means is when there is sudden knowledge, that's my dog. Hey! So when you have, sorry, she likes to bark at everything. So when you get, for example, I've done this where I'm driving down the road and all of a sudden I start thinking of a friend that I maybe hadn't had contact in a while, and I get this urge to want to pick up the phone and call them. And I do so when that person is, going through a hard time emotionally, and there's maybe I've gone through the same thing, so that I could be there for them and really help them through it and be an emotional support. Whereas before I'm not in my habit to just pick up the phone and call people daily or weekly. So that would be something intuitive. What would not be intuitive is maybe you're on social media and you see that somebody is with their posts, maybe you might see a change in their tone, or there might be some subtext that you're picking up on, that they're going through a difficult time, so you reach out. And with that, there's clues that we, pick up on that would not necessarily be, intuitive. So Myers-Brigg, if you've ever heard of that, it's a personality test indicator. And I'm sure, since you're on the internet, it's memes everywhere about Myers-Brigg. You might see the 4 letters. It's an acronym like INFJ. And part of the personality test is testing intuitiveness. So how they define intuitiveness is an awareness of knowing that seems to come unbidden and cannot be logically explained. So once again, it's knowledge that comes to you, or a feeling that cannot be debunked. So if we move away from science into metaphysical, it describes intuition almost the same but slightly different. It actually adds some things to it. And one of the definitions I found was the natural knowing capacity, inner knowing, immediate apprehension of spiritual truth without resort to intellectual means or wisdom of the heart. So after hearing those definitions, some of us might wonder whether intuition is real or even reliable, if it's a knowledge that comes to us from nowhere, or wisdom of the heart. Does that sound, very reliable? For some, it may sound a little new agey or hippie, but it has definitely been studied, in different fields of science. And, excuse me. Psychology goes on to, with their description or explanation of intuition and how it works, is they feel that it's something that develops around the age. It's part of our development, and it starts around the age of 3 to 5 years old, and that's when we really start to take a look and be more aware of our environment. We start to look to our parents or our guardians, those that are around us every day. We become more aware. We start picking up on social cues, facial expressions, the tone of voice, nonverbal cues, and those are usually around the age when we start doing that. We really start becoming more aware of our environment. And excuse me, talking makes me thirsty. So if science really sees, or psychology really sees this as something that can be developed, then I think, in my humble opinion, that sounds more like intuition, instinct than intuition. Instinct is based on logic and reason, and it is something that all species are born with. It's built into our very DNA as part of our survival mode. It's something that we need to pay attention in order to survive. If you really look at, for example, mammals, often before winter, if they live in the northern hemisphere, prepare for winter. And if they know it's going to be a harsher winter, you'll see maybe squirrels getting fatter, or those little caterpillars that are like an orangey and black color. By looking at nature, you could kind of see that they instinctually know that there's going to be a harsh winter. And as humans, we used to look to Mother Nature for those signs. And so basically that's kind of, something that is kind of built in to our system. So, when we used to look to nature for those cues, this kind of brings into that debate about nature versus nurture. It is a question of how and why we are the way we are. Is it nature? Is it nurture? How we act, our behavior, is it how we're raised, or is it built into our DNA? And I don't know, if you look at the definitions of instinct and intuition, I think it can be a little bit of both. Intuition can't be logically explained, and it's not as if there are visual cues to debunk that we know something's up. So I think it's a little bit of both. And for example, let's say you have two kids. One grew up in an urban area, inner city, and maybe somebody else was a suburbia kid or rural kid. They're going to have different backgrounds, and they're going to be looking for different cues. So for example, a city kid, when they're walking down the street, the average person might see somebody shaking hands, whereas the kid who grew up in that area and knows what to look for, what to pick up on, and is definitely more aware of their surrounding might actually pick up on what was in the hands. Maybe it was a little baggie, maybe it was money. So he's going to be, you know, his perception of what's going on is going to be different from somebody who is not from that area. The same thing with a kid who maybe grew up in a rural area. They know different things to look for. You know, they know when and where to go during, you know, rutting season, or, you know, if they're out walking and they see fresh scat, you know, they probably will be able to identify it and know, like, okay, this is bear scat, and you know, I need to be getting home quick. So it's all in, you know, how we are raised. But with nature, you know, there's that instinct of, you know, when everything gets real quiet, we know something's, you know, going on. If you've ever been out in the country and everything goes dead quiet, you know, that's kind of a red flag. So also, some of us, you know, another example of intuition is meeting a stranger. I'm sure all of us at some point have came across someone we just instantly connected with, and then maybe somebody else we didn't. You know, there was just something that we felt was really kind of, you know, uneasy about. You know, there was just, we felt, you know, an inner red flag that we couldn't quite put our finger on. And then, you know, maybe later found out that this person who maybe seemed really nice and friendly and everybody liked, but, you know, actually was not a very safe person to be around. So that could be an example of intuition, depending on the verbal and nonverbal cues that they send out. So sometimes it's just a feeling. With that, you know, the difference between instinct and intuition, let's go a little bit deeper into intuition. There are different types of intuition, and we all experience it differently. For some of us, it's seeing something. It's a visual type of message that we might get. It could be a scene. It could be, you know, we might just have a movie scene come to mind, or maybe a memory, and that can be, you know, a visual example of intuition that we need to pay attention to. And then there's hearing. It might be a song that pops into our head. It might be like something disguised as an inner voice telling us, you know, to take a different direction, or to take action. You know, like, hey, you know, there's somebody who's on the street and they need help. You know, maybe you're the type of person who doesn't always, you know, give to somebody who's living on the streets, but maybe there might be a time when you feel something tap you on the shoulder and tell you, you know, give that person the last $5 in your pocket. They need it more. So that's an example of hearing. And then sometimes there's just knowing, and often it's not visual or hearing. It's almost having something just pop right into your head before it could even form into words. It's kind of strange. I've experienced myself, and I've always had a hard time kind of explaining this one, but it's just really knowing what to do or what to say, and without really anything audible or visual. So the next would be taste and smell, and that's just self-explanatory. For example, you're really connected, and I've heard this from somebody else. I don't think I've experienced it myself, but someone who is connected to someone and they get a taste in their mouth, and then later find out, like maybe it's mint. They have a minty taste in their mouth, and for some reason, you know, they're paying attention to the time, and they mention it later offhand to somebody, like their best friend, and they're like, oh, I was brushing my teeth at that time. So or it could be a scent. Maybe you're smelling the scent of lavender and it reminds you of your grandma. So you pick up the phone and call her, and she's like, hey, I need some help, come help me. That's another way. And then feeling. These are sensations in our body. And sometimes they can be in the form of an emotion like anxiety or fear. And often, this happened to me. I happened to wake up with extreme anxiety, but I didn't have a bad dream. And I have no idea where it's coming from. And then come to find out it was either, relative that I'm very, very connected to is going through, a really difficult time at that particular, time, maybe having a really bad day. Or it's been on a larger level, like sadly the anniversary of a mass shooting. I have waken up not knowing that, not really being on social media or paying attention to news, wake up feeling incredibly sad, just a heavy heart and not knowing where it came from, and then finding out later that day. So those are different ways that we could pick up on our intuition. So at some point, some people want to know, though, how to decipher your intuition from fear. Fear-based, can be kind of difficult. The easiest way I can decipher my intuition and fear is with fear, there's that very physical feeling where, my thoughts start spiraling and I start worrying and thinking about worst case scenarios and just that feeling of dread and the uncertainty of the future. Whereas with intuition, there's really not a lot of emotion attached to it as far as, making a decision, for example. There are times when maybe you're at the wrong place at the wrong time, and you might have gotten some cues before that not to take that route, and then you do, and then there's this feeling of dread, and you feel, okay, I got to turn around. But fear is like this out of control spiraling, your mind is racing, that kind of thing. So with intuition, you can't logically really explain it. Whereas fear, it's insecurity, fear of the unknown and uncertainty, or triggering, past events that trigger us now. So that's how you can really kind of decipher fear from intuition. And if you're still not certain, you just need to, okay, is this coming from me? Is this fear? Is this real? Or is this intuition? And the first thing you need to do is just calm down emotionally, make sure there's no emotion attached to it, and make sure that it's not your own insecurities that are, causing you to feel that way. And when you start to kind of slow down, maybe meditate, that really helps out a lot. If you still feel like, okay, no, I need to, do something, take action now, or leave, or, then you know. So, so how can you, if you have intuition, or, or maybe you haven't really thought about intuition and you're not really sure where to start, or like I said, maybe you are already intuitive, but maybe you want to maybe take it a little bit more seriously, and you haven't really, it's not something you really think about. There are some exercises to really help you boost your intuition so you can be really connected and make the right decisions. And some things are journaling and brain dumping. So in the morning or in the evening, some people prefer in the evening, it's a great exercise that I've learned from different other intuitives, and also from the book The Artist Way. She suggests, every day, the first thing you do is write 3 pages. It doesn't matter for me, the number or anything with intuitiveness, but it's a great way to just kind of empty my mind of, yesterday's worries and anxieties. Or, as a mom, I always have lots of to-do lists and things I worry about. So when I put it down on paper, things that I don't really need to think or focus about, just kind of get it all on paper so I can just, go on with my day and focus on other things. So if there's things I need to remember, I have it down and programmed in my reminder alarm clock. Or if there's things that I'm really worried about but I can't do anything about, or if I can do something about them, then I just journal about it. If I can't do anything, leave it up to God or your higher power or whoever. If I can do about it, then write down a plan of action. So, and that really helps a lot, because then it lifts, some worries and day-to-day burdens. And the next thing is to be more present in your life. Not to sit there and focus about, what happened in the past, not spending too much time remembering or going over or beating the dead horse of things that happened that you have nothing, you can't change your past, or worrying about the future, being too focused on the future or the past really robs you of today. So if you try to stay present when it's appropriate, if you're at home and everybody's at home and you have, a family dinner, and it's not a good time to sit there and worry about tomorrow or write your to-do list, or, it's a good time to just be present and enjoy those little moments in our life, so we can be more focused and be more aware too of what's going on, around us at this moment. And then meditating. Not all of us can sit down every single day in a moment of quietness and meditate. So sometimes the best thing to do is, even if it's just 5 minutes, on YouTube there's tons of self-guided meditation if you're the type that doesn't like to just sit there and quiet and try not to think. There are guided meditations that I use, and they come in different times, anywhere from 5 to an hour. So 5 minutes to an hour. Also, you can do the walking meditation, which is basically, again, going back to being more present in your life, is like if you're washing dishes, just thinking about washing dishes and focusing on the task that you're doing. It doesn't have to be a chore. It could be going for a beautiful walk, maybe not listen to music, maybe just focus on hearing nature around you. There's also things like drawing or sketching, something crafty, something that you do with your hands is a great way to meditate. Going outside and getting fresh air. It's really important to keep your brain healthy, and fresh air has been known to getting fresh air every single day has been known to have amazing health benefits with our brain and focusing and having clear cognition. So it's really important too for our health, for our brain and for our lungs, getting that fresh air pumping through our body really helps us. I know it seems strange that the difference of being in your house and outside, that the air quality might be different, but it is. And if you live in maybe a big city and the air quality isn't so great, make sure you can, as much as possible, get out to the country and away from air pollution, and get some fresh air as possible. So playing with prediction. So you can create some different types of games that can kind of help you get in touch with your tuition by trying to predict things. And it could be something as simple as your phone rings and maybe write down, before you look at it to see who it is, just maybe write down who you think it is. can be the same as getting a notification too. So, if you're in the grocery store and you see a bunch of lines, let intuition guide you to a line. Just say which line is faster, and then just go with the very first line, that you're picking up on. That might be the fastest line. The next is, don't try to overthink it. So if you're working on your tuition, and like I said, with one of those questions, like which line, don't try to sit there and think and go, okay, well, that one has less. So even though my first response was that one, there's 4 people, but this one only has 2. So you kind of think about it logically and then take that. And oftentimes, what happens when we ignore our first response and our intuition is we turn out to be wrong. So, and then also get out of your own way. And that really, I guess, goes back to not trying to overthink things, or not trying to, doubt yourself, or say, oh, it's just a lucky guess. Because then if you start, doubting yourself, then you start overthinking things. And then you start losing confidence in, your inner ability to take care of yourself, or, have the intuition that will help guide you. So, and then affirmations. I know a lot of people don't like affirmations. Some may feel they're a little too new agey, but they're actually wonderful, great tools that more and more talk therapists are using. So there is some definite proof that using positive feedback, even if at first it feels a little silly, does have a positive effect. And I think when we are, to kind of tie this all in together, when we are physically healthy and emotionally healthy and happy, I think that really frees us up to be more in tune with our intuition, because then it takes, we're not so focused and in a lower level. If I want to bring up vibration into this, lower vibration of being critical and sad and worrying is not the same vibration level energetically, and I'm speaking of energy, than somebody who is in a really good place. So, and life isn't always obviously, happy and rainbows and sparkles and unicorns. We're going to have ups and downs. But if we try to, not let our circumstances, which are out of our control, dictate how we're, our attitude or our happiness, and we just try to do the best we can do with what we have, and we're grateful for what we have, that puts us in a completely different mindset. And when you're not weighed down and bogged down with anxieties, then that really kind of frees your headspace to be able to hear your intuition. So now how does all of this tie in on a professional level that we jabbed on about all this intuition stuff? How's this going to help you on a professional level? Both instinct and intuition are pretty great tools that you can use and that are helpful. For example, when you are setting up your business, or maybe a classroom setting or teaching setting, however you want to get it set up, there may be times when, depending on your situation, you'll have to decide if you're going to meet in a public space or not. Or, if you do have everything set up and there might be a student where, you're not feeling like maybe you should take them on, it's like maybe you really need the money, but there might be some signals there. They're saying, this person's either going to be high maintenance or a potential stalker, someone that's a little too emotionally attached to you, that's going to kind of suck your energy. So you need to really kind of listen to the intuition and instinct and not let need dictate you, even though can be very tempting, to sacrifice our personal security for financial security. But I think if you listen to your intuition, I think there's a way that, our needs do get met, even if we don't see it at the time. Also intuition, when you really try to trust that the universe has your back, that you have, the help of whatever you want to call it, your higher power. If, you're an atheist or agnostic, and I've been there, there does seem to be unexplainable things that just kind of seem to go my way. Even, there were times I was worried, but somehow I was always taken care of. My needs have always been met. I've been very fortunate in my life, and I think a lot of it is just helped me by relying on my, inner voice, intuition. So, and, if you are a newer entrepreneur and newer to this, all this new tech stuff can be really overwhelming, and it's kind of hard to decide which direction to take. Do you follow the tech trends, or do you want to go more traditional and go, keep it face to face? And again, this is when intuition can serve you, and you need to decide without fear which works best for you. Because, I know practitioners and professionals who choose to do face to face, and they are successful. And there are those who do things virtually, and, they're doing well. So don't let anybody try to tell you that it can only be done one way. Often there is no one way or one right way, and that's why we have all these opportunities and options nowadays. So follow your instincts. It'll help you to develop confidence. So when you really start to develop your instincts, and your instincts serve you, or your intuition, and it serves you, that can really help develop your confidence. And when you are comfortable and coming from a place of confidence, that really shows and builds confidence, helps your clients, your students build confidence in you, as well as maybe your colleagues or coworkers, people that you might work with too. Also, it's a good way to vet clients. As I kind of briefly mentioned before, there might be times when, we are all different. Some of us might have personalities that clash with others. There might be people who have difficult personalities, and there may be times when, there'll be someone who looks great on paper, but intuitively you feel like, maybe you should not take them on. And there might be the opposite. There might be someone who is just, maybe at first it makes such a great first impression, but you kind of get the nudge to maybe give them a second chance. So that could really kind of help you when you're vetting clients or people to network with, or programs to use, that kind of thing. Also to intuitively help you know what your students' needs. All of us learn differently. Some of us are audio learners, some are visual. And also, maybe you put on a course and one of your students, you haven't heard from them. Some people might throw their hands up and go, okay, well, it's their money, if they're not partaking, that's their business. But if intuition is kind of tapping you on the shoulders and saying, check in on them, and then, you do so, and maybe they're going through a really difficult time, and you decide, to maybe create something for them that they can do at their own pace, so that they can still keep up and get their money's worth. But yeah, there might be people who don't finish it, and there might be those who are just going through problems and need that a little extra help. And sometimes it's worth it, to go a little bit out of the way and help someone who's might need to, learn at their own pace. And as long as you don't take on too much, but that often helps, because then, you've made a great impression with them, and they're, going to tell their friends and so on and so forth. So just choose wisely. So don't ever try to, do more than you can do, though. So, so those are some ways that intuition can really help you as a skill set, and improve your business, and also your business decisions, and help you work better with people, because you're going to be working with people from all different types of backgrounds, and sometimes it's better to tune in intuitively than just see what people are not just necessarily what they're saying or doing, because sometimes there's stuff going on, and if we don't have their background, we don't know how they project that. So in my own practice, I rely on intuition very strongly. As a Reiki practitioner, I intuitively pick up maybe aches and pains or emotions, sometimes colors, and that helps me tremendously. Also, as an intuitive reader, I love tarot cards. They are an amazing tool to use. So are oracle cards, but I need to rely on intuition to help me very much, read for my clients and pick up on, different messages that I'm getting. One example, it's not necessarily a professional example, but with this current situation, this summer I started seeing all these little squirrels and birds just pigging out and getting fat, and instinctually, paying attention to nature, I thought, oh, we're going to have a hard winter. So logically, I was trying to explain why I was, taking notice of the, little animals are getting fat for winter, and I thought it's going to be we're going to have a harsh winter, I think. And I thought I better stock up, because I've had several winters where I've been stuck at home. And so I'm like, okay, it might be a couple weeks, so it'll be good to have, some necessities stocked up and extra stuff. And I was going to do that, and I just didn't follow through. And then a little bit more recently, before this outbreak, I started getting little nudges, like maybe I should buy a thermometer. But again, I didn't act on it. I thought, oh, later. And then, maybe I should buy that extra thing of toilet paper at Costco, which I ignored. And it wasn't fear. There was no fear. It was just a little like, maybe you should do that. And for me, it was audible. It was just like a voice saying, maybe you should do that. It's my own fault for not acting on that. And now we're kind of in a toilet paper crisis. So when I started letting fear interfere with the situation going on, I started feeling this heaviness in my chest. And it started making me sick. And then I realized, that it was fear and not me actually getting the virus. So I stopped worrying. I kind of pulled back from social media and pulled back from, I still check on stuff, but I'm not constantly looking and seeing, stats. And I feel a lot better. And now it's just, try to be more smart about it. I'm not going crazy and stocking up, but, I'll learn next time when intuition taps me on the shoulder and I don't, I can't see a reason why, that I'll do it next time. So, that's just my little most recent experience with intuition. So anyway, if you guys have any more questions, you can just get a hold of us through, St. Paul's Free University. Again, I hope you're all doing well and staying safe and healthy and sane. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in. And yeah, stay safe. Bye. Thank you.
My name is Rosa M. Luna with St. Paul's Free University, and I'm here to talk to you about energy healing. I have been using energy healing for over 23 years, and it all started with my mom, and 3 generations past her. My mother was a curandera, who is a healer in Spanish, who passed down some of the skills and abilities to me that I now use. Plus, I use other methods I learned from studying Reiki, from my Reiki master, Kathy B., who paid over $4,000 to earn her degree of Reiki, of 1, 2, and 3, and becoming a Reiki master and a teacher herself. So I too studied through her and became a Reiki master and teacher. I don't have a degree or a certificate to teach, just a big heart and desire to heal others with love. Now, I am a member of St. Paul's Free University, and I have my teacher certification through this university, and I'm studying to be a full-time instructor and mentor. What is Reiki, you may ask? Well, Reiki is a powerful healing energy, and is one of the forms of healing that can be used for oneself or others or anyone who has the desire to heal others. Reiki is pronounced Ray, like as in R-A-Y, Ki as in K-E-Y, and the Ray means universal, and it refers to the spiritual dimension of the soul. Ki means vital life force energy that flows through all living things, like, for example, plants, fruit, nuts, vegetables, flowers, and there's many examples that contain energy. And when these are combined, Reiki, its meaning is universal life force energy. And it starts with laying of hands, which we use this as a technique, a healing technique, and it's been around for thousands of years. It is thought to have originated as a Tibetan Baptist practice that was rediscovered in late 1800s by Dr. Mikao Yusushi. I know I'm not pronouncing this name right. A Japanese Buddhist. This is a very simple yet powerful technique that can be easily learned by anyone. The universe, the space around us, is filled with endless and inexhaustible energy. It is a universal, pristine, and productive source of power and energy that also keeps us alive. Reiki is this natural healing energy that flows through the hands of the Reiki channel in a powerful and concentrated form. The energy is channeled through the hands of the practitioner into the body of the receiver. Because it is a universal source, energy giving power, Reiki belongs to anyone who is ready to receive the gifts of healing hands. Reiki is effective wherever hands touch, because Reiki hands radiate healing energy at any time, in any place, and it has been experienced that, it is my experience that when there is a person around me who needs healing, my hands actually get warm. It's good for when it's winter time. Reiki supports medical treatments such as massages, foot reflexology, acupressure, acupuncture, chiropractic treatments, etc., etc. Reiki brings the body and mind into an even balance and works on all levels of the physical, spiritual, emotional, and soul levels. Reiki encourages self-healing. It strengthens the body and the soul. It rebuilds harmony and flows in an unlimited quantity, and it is a channel healing. Therefore, the Reiki practitioner's energies are never depleted. Additionally, because the healing Reiki energy is flowing through the practitioner during the treatment. Never use your own energy. Both client and practitioner receive the benefits. For this reason, always use the universal energy and not your own when giving a treatment. It always increases one's energy and leaves one surrounded with loving feelings of well-being. Reiki is not a religion. It beholds no doctrines, creeds, or contradictions to the universal law of consciousness and love. No matter where the person may be at a certain point in their lives, Reiki will harmonize and embrace their physiological center point, adding to it the divine presence. Once an individual is attuned to Reiki through initiation, like studying and you're ready to get attuned, I will happily pass attunements. I have passed hundreds of attunements in my over 23 years of being a Reiki master and a teacher. So, after that, we are permanently linked without the need of conscious alterations of the mind. Either through meditation, prayer, or imaging, simply placing one's hands on ourselves or another person allows the energy to flow through the individual, then the practitioner, through our hands. And it fills the Reiki practitioner's body first, then flows throughout the practitioner's hands into the individual who is receiving the healing. Reiki is energy from the universe, source, or if I may, God, and it's an extremely powerful healing energy. It does not conflict with any other health care. Instead, rather it enhances its results. It does not interfere with traditional medical treatment, but facilitates benefits. Reiki also speeds the healing process and provides a source of restoring energy while one is ill or under medical treatment or in recovery. Reiki healing is pure energy. It's a pure energy form. When it is combined with the sincere desire of the receiver who is willing to effect a cleansing within their emotional and spiritual consciousness, a total healing can occur. Reiki is so wonderful. It is a wonderful tool for use at any moment, any time, anywhere, on the spot. Stress release, pain relief, and quick energy. In short, Reiki is a holistic self-help technique for directing natural life force energy to you or to the receiver. Through Reiki, you will experience the blessing, spiritual growth, and change. Reiki is a divine grace of the universal source, God, if I may use that word, immeasurable gift and a wonderful tool to help one develop conscious awareness, the very key to enlightenment. Like as in most things in life, like everything, Reiki must be experienced in order to be appreciated. You have to have that experience with Reiki. Allow me to demonstrate how powerful this energy is. So here I have a glass of water from the faucet. I want to show you the difference between, this is just from the faucet. As you can see, my pendulum is not moving. If it moves a little bit, it's me. I'm a little bit shaky. Okay, so what I'm going to do to demonstrate this magical symbols, I'm going to put the symbols, the Reiki symbols, in the water. And I'm going to hold the glass just for a few seconds. And I will show you the difference. As you saw before, my pendulum was not moving. And now, see the energy? This is the Reiki energy life force from the sacred symbols that I just put in here in the glass. Ta-da! Magic, 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 magic. Now, because you think it was probably the glass, you might think that. I have this other glass, and I'm going to pour the water in there. I didn't do anything to that glass. And I will show you that it is the water. Ta-da! Because the symbols are still in the water. And now, does this glass have any magic to it? No. The pendulum is not moving. And if it's moving a little bit, that's me, because I'm shaky. So when you put the symbols in the water, it has the energy force in the water. And when you drink it, now the symbols are inside me. The God energy force, healing energy is in the water, and then you drink it, it's in you. And I want to also show you that you can do this to your vitamins. Look at the container of the vitamins is also not moving. So now let's put the Reiki sacred symbols in the vitamins. Okay, as you saw, there was no energy to the bottle or to the vitamins. And now look, so when you take these vitamins, it'll be enchant, it'll enchant, oh look, it's really moving. It'll really enchant the ability of the vitamins. So let's do the same thing we did with the water. Let's take them out and put them on the table because my hands have energy on them. So you can see, I'm going to move this aside. And there you go. So using my imagination, I put the symbols, the sacred symbols on the vitamins. And look at that. Take one of these babies and I'll become Superwoman. So there you go. Magic. You can use the sacred symbols on your vitamins also. Your vitamin and medications, it enchants them. So respectfully, you can use the sacred symbols on many things. There's many benefits from the Reiki energy source. It supports the body's natural ability to heal. It vitalizes the body and the soul. It balances the organs and glands and their bodily functions, reestablishes spiritual equilibrium and mental well-being, promotes creativity. It cleanses the body of toxins. It relieves pain. Very important. It strengthens the immune system, adjusts itself according to the needs of the recipient body energy. It also enhances meditation. It is an extremely pleasant, holistic method of healing. Thank you very much for listening to me today. My name is Rosa M. Luna, and you can reach me at rosamluna.com. Thank you very much. Take care.
Hi folks, nice to have you with us today. Thank you for listening to our wonderful, we hope, training for teachers, and we hope that you will agree that at the end of this you'll have some really great tools to be teaching your own students and classes and generating a lot of knowledge and understanding in the world. That's what we'd like to see. Anyway, my name is Lolo Lesser, and I would like to be your trainer for today. I'm going to be talking about learning styles. I've been doing my own trainings and helping with groups, as well as facilitating groups and developing trainings. It's a wonderful thing to do, and my biggest fun thing is developing tricks and ways of engaging people to start with. Icebreakers, that's my favorite, because you've got to get started well. So I've been doing this stuff for about 30 years, and I am also a personal life coach as well as a trainer and consultant, and I consult with organizations as well as families and individuals. So if you'd like to give me a call, my website is lololesser.com. Again, that's lololesser.com, just the way it sounds. And I will look forward possibly to hearing from you. It's kind of hard to be talking to a webcam. I'm sorry we can't do this live. I really like having people in front of me. But I'm going to have to imagine you out there. That's what I'm going to do. So thank you for being here again. Welcome. So we're going to start. First of all, we need to realize that when you're teaching, it is an empathic process. You need to be looking at your students and noticing, first of all, their response mode, because occasionally you'll get people in front of you who look like they have they're like deers in the headlights, and that is not going to be a good learning mode. And also if they're in some kind of flight or fight mode, which can happen with young students especially, or they really need to get beyond that, and it's a teacher's job to do some kind of relaxation. Tell a joke, be lighthearted or observant. You also will be imparting a sense of safety to the class. So without the sense of safety, there's no way that they can learn. In order for learning to occur, there needs to be a sense of safety. A social engagement mode is actually required so that they can engage with you. And then beyond that, it's great to look at that learners come with different natures and nurtures and different biological imperatives, different experiences, and different learning styles. So the more learning styles that you can accommodate within your lesson teaching, the more effective is your teaching. And of course, that's what we want to be, is effective teachers. So we're now talking about a model of 5 learning styles and 2 modes. So that makes altogether really 5 learning styles, and they all combine with the 2 different modes. We have a visual learning style, a logical learning style, a oral learning style, which is AURAL, that's listening, music, a verbal learning style, and a physical learning style. And then in addition, social interactive learning style or solitary learning style. So mostly we're going to want to get involved with all of those, but I'm going to start with the visual is quite obviously spatial pictures, and oral is auditory, musical, verbal, linguistic, speech. Physical is, and then in addition, social, interactive learning style or solitary learning style. So let's start with visual. You prefer using, this is the learner, prefers using pictures, images, and spatial understanding. And examples are diagrams, maps, photographs, slides, videos. And that's what hopefully we've got going here. The oral is, as I mentioned, auditory musical, and that's using sound and music, which would be like jingles, tunes, sing-alongs. If you use the oral style, you like to work with sound and music. You have a good sense of pitch and rhythm, and typically you can sing, play a musical instrument, or identify the sounds of different instruments. And of course, certain music evokes strong emotions, so that's kind of nice. The verbal is what we're used to in teaching, and that's preferring using words in speech and writing. Examples would be, of course, lecturing, books to look at and read, reading books, writing notes. So as someone may be lecturing, someone is writing notes, that helps them to verbally learn. That's their learning style. Helping them, you use keywords, flip charts perhaps, and a PowerPoint presentation. The physical kinesthetic is using body, hands, and sense of touch. So if you can somehow include some kind of movement in there, maybe turning the page is even something, but some kind of involvement with the physical body, so that this, and some of these learners may use their body on their own. They may be like tapping on the table, and that's how they stay in touch with what their mind is listening to. And we get irritated sometimes listening to the noise, but you know what? That's how kids can help stay present and let their minds absorb. So a lot of tolerance is necessary. Logical, mathematical. So that's kind of obvious. That style is using logic, reasoning, and systems, kind of making a progression with whatever you're talking about one at a time. Numbers included, lists, bullet points. That's a helpful thing for a logical style of learning. Now the social, interpersonal, some people really prefer to learn in groups and with other people. And that would mean kind of like putting people in small groups, as well as having a large classroom. So it helps people to bounce off of others, to absorb and regurgitate their learning quite often. It helps people to understand things when they hear someone else other than the teacher. Some people really prefer to learn in groups and with other people. And that would mean kind of like putting people in small groups, as well as having a large classroom. So it helps people to bounce off of others, to absorb and regurgitate their learning quite often. It helps people to understand things when they hear someone else other than the teacher saying things, and a different level of understanding penetrates. And with solitary learning, they prefer to study alone and use self-study. And I know I actually am one of those kind of learners. I would sit through the class, take notes, but then I'd have to think about it on my own after the class to be able to absorb, for example, math concepts. So now there's lots of other styles of learning, and we are learning more and more that different people are absorb learning in different ways. A naturalist is a kind of style of learning, as well as a person who enjoys nature, but they learn by working with and experiencing nature. So if you can be outside and bring the outside into your teaching, and that is something that helps people integrate learning and understand. It's a good thing. Other student activities that can help promote learning. So we mentioned helping students relax helps learning. So sometimes it's worthwhile to stop when students are upset over something and discuss it. For example, our coronavirus stuff. It's maybe better to talk about it a little bit and just get people to get their feelings out and have a place where they can express themselves, and then your learning will not be wasting time, because you will actually be allowing them to step into something other than what their feelings have been keeping them stuck with. So giving a little bit of humor to some of these situations is good too. Pictures of a lot of things have been coming on the internet that provides a lot of humor about all the toilet paper everybody's been gathering. So, you know, wherever we can get it, it helps us to survive and to relax and to learn. And we all need to learn. So anyway, and when we can promote that feeling of empathy and understanding, it leads to a deeper level of learning and, of course, understanding of the curriculum. So we can use empathy games, role-playing, writing diaries. If we're doing, this kind of depends on what you're teaching and what you're learning, but role-playing, writing diaries are really excellent ways, student activities. Also having a circle of just appreciation and acknowledgement, so people can talk about what they learned, what they appreciate about what they're learning, and this can help people to absorb what's going on and what they're learning. And sometimes that has to do with a class that's ongoing more than something that's a short-term class. But it's always good to get that at some point feedback from your students so that you can grow and learn. And when they bring up again their learning, that's how they learn it. And when they're going to be regurgitating it, when they're going to be saying it back to somebody else. So understanding that different environments are conducive to learning for different people, that's another point that we really need to make. Different environments are, some people are comfortable on couches, some need a table and chair to learn. So let's be open to the possibility that our new necessity of doing online learning might be allowing people the environments that are most conducive to their own learning. And we're going to develop a whole new way of having people learn. And hopefully they can gain community in that, because I know a lot of the activities I'm talking about are things that we're talking about with face-to-face students. So thinking of doing online classes where we don't have the face-to-face, it's harder. I'm having a hard time talking to a screen rather than talking to people in front of me. I really enjoy having people in front of me. So anyway, David Kolb was a brilliant man who thought a lot about how people learn. And this is the way that we can learn. Some people call it Kolb's learning styles, and it is actually also styles. For example, and also it's a learning continuum. So, but I just want us to notice that, for example, diverging might be the beginning. The first thing that we all do when we're learning is we feel and watch. And this is what artists do. Assimilating is kind of what nerds do. They think and watch. It's kind of a nerd sort of reaction. Converging is techies who are doing and thinking. And the last stage, I guess, is accommodating, which is kind of what consumers do. They're doing and feeling. So let's explain those and get into a little more detail about what they are. The first stage, which we arrive at when we're starting to learn something, is we're just kind of hanging out, feeling and watching, gathering information. We're using our imagination with what's being said or presented. And some of the activities that can help stimulate that feeling and watching and gathering information is brainstorming. So inviting people to put their ideas into of what they want to learn, or what the aims of the group are, of what things they think they might be learning, what their goals are in learning, or any of the other brainstorming about what the actual subject matter is as well is sometimes really useful. And you can also do activities in small groups that might be discussing and just talking about how you feel about the subject matter in some way. So the second step in Kolb's learning continuum is now assimilating, which is thinking and watching some of the things that you would do in that time after the brainstorming and thinking about things. Then you're actually going to give your material. You're going to lecture. You're going to be perhaps telling stories. You're going to be perhaps doing some conversation that actually is going to be bringing forward the material. You might be modeling yourself what it is that you want done, what is the task that you're trying to teach people, and that they are going to be assimilating and watching and learning from you. And then after they have done that, you want to start having them start doing and thinking. So you might have some practical, technical tasking ideas. You might be giving some more stories, some examples of how to use the whatever it is that you're talking about in different ways, experimenting with new ideas. So you might experiment with some of the learning material in ways and set up some activities that have practical applications. And this is where they're actually putting brass tacks together so that they can see how that the new knowledge can be applied practically. And then after that one, the fourth part of Kolb's learning continuum would be actually accommodating. So when you're accommodating, when you're guiding the learner to be accommodating, and that's really what each of these stages are. The learner is accommodating the new knowledge, and by doing and feeling, so they're going to be now, actually, this would be your task to set up them doing an intuition guiding hands-on. And this is the real experiential learning that Kolb felt was the most important stage to get to. So all of these other stages were to get you to actually experiencing and doing the step-by-step plans and looking at what the effect is, and seeing how you can yourself use the new knowledge. So and then, of course, after that, you'd go back to diverging, because you're going to look and see what happened. So that's why it's a continuum that keeps going round and round. And that's it. And as you see, it's between perception and processing. So we want people to be able to do perceiving and feeling and noticing and thinking at the same time as processing, and that's processing is watching and doing. So they're getting to do the doing as they become more learned And the experiential, hands-on, is what really helps learning to become part of who we are as the next person who has the knowledge of what you've taught. So you're contributing with all of your experience and your knowledge in teaching. So I hope this helps you to be successful in your future as a teacher, and let us know what more we can contribute. Thank you.
I have come from a blue-collar background, and I'm so thankful to be living in a better life, my best life, and making the world a better place through my work here at St. Paul's. Because I work in a lab in an educational institution that is not controlled by federal or state government, I get access to advanced, energetic, natural, and spiritual technologies and science, which you would never be able to have access to in any other kind of school setting. What I have found most amazing in my work so far, and you would be surprised at how fast these emerging sciences advance, so I might say something completely different next month. But right now, I am most impressed about how much control you have over your own DNA. What I have discovered is that everything is energy, and we all vibrate at certain frequencies. If I got you in the lab and hooked you up to my equipment, I could see exactly at what frequency you are vibrating at any given time. But you can tell this just by looking around your life too. If you look around your life, the life that you see all around you is a perfect representation of your vibrational frequency. The good news is that if you don't like the way your life is, you can change your frequency just like changing the channel on your radio or your television. Only you use the remote of your mind to change your frequency by using your thoughts, and your frequency makes your life the way it is. And this includes your biology. You actually have complete control over every cell in your body, right down to your DNA, which you can control and manipulate with the power of your thoughts. I know it sounds crazy, but this is really verifiable science. We have seen this over and over again, and if I worked for any other school or university, I couldn't tell you that we've seen people healed from all kinds of nasty diseases by just using the power of their thoughts to change their biology and their DNA. Today, I am going to give you a free tip that you can use from this date forward to change your vibration so that you can live a better life, your best life, and make the world a better place. Imagine all the things you want in life. Everything you ever wanted can be yours. Heck, if you want it, it's just already yours. All you have to do is to raise your vibration from where you are to where you want to be. I can tell you the fastest and easiest way to change your vibration. Well, the fastest and easiest way that worked for me was to do a search on YouTube for Abraham Hicks. If you can put yourself on a steady diet of Abraham Hicks, just listening to the words, you don't have to believe in anything, just kind of let the words flow over you. You will hear Abraham's words answering questions asked by regular people like you and me. Just listen to them. Don't judge. Don't believe anything. Just relax and absorb them. If you're anything like me, not long after you start listening to Abraham Hicks, you will start seeing things in your life change. And when you start seeing the difference and feeling better than you ever felt before, then you can start listening more to the content, evaluating, asking yourself questions, and arriving at your own conclusions, and seeing how living at a higher vibration frequency might suit you. And you can apply this to any area of your life. If you want more money, a bigger house, better job, or if you want to be the best teacher you can be, you can have it all. And all the power of your thoughts you never knew. We may meet again in the lab or in a class where I can demonstrate some of these new scientific technologies to you that you never would be able to have access to anywhere else. Thank you for joining us here today, and I hope you have the best life ahead of you after receiving your teacher's certification as you embrace your innate gifts and abilities to help others. My name is Juanita Holiday, and you can find out more about me at juanitaholiday.com. Thank you and have a great day.
Be an expert in your field. You've done a lot of work today and made a few discoveries about yourself. You are starting to wrap your mind and your heart around the idea that you are meant for something greater than you had previously allowed yourself to be. Now we have some more work to do. We're going to drill down and establish your area of expertise and brand you as an undeniable expert in your field. Now, like I said, you don't need to know it all or have all the answers, but what you do need is the experience. We've already established that you have that. You need to be able to want to help others so that they could have a chance to increase their quality of life. You need to be willing to take inspired action to do the work to set yourself up as a valuable resource and an expert in your field. And we're going to help you do that today. Remember, you don't have to know it all. Let's say you faced some difficulty and were able to make it to the other side. For example, maybe you went through foreclosure and your family was at risk of being thrown out in the street, but you were able to turn that situation around and you made it. There are people out there right now who are losing their homes and are at risk of being thrown out. Do they need you? Could you help them with that? Hell yes. You don't need to know more than anyone else about your topic. You just need to know more than the people who need what you have to offer. So you have 3 lists now, and you have a list of experiences where it clearly was not easy for you. You struggled, you made a stand against adversity, you persisted against the odds, and you lived to tell about it. You have a list of activities which settle into your power and another list of special gifts and abilities. You can teach someone else on any of those topics. You do not have to be the top expert in your field or know all the answers to have a massive impact on the world and make a lot of money teaching in your field of expertise. But you do need to know who you are, why you are here, what you have to offer, and to whom. So now we're going to take a look at your 90-second life story. Basically, I want you to reduce your life story down to a 1.5-minute monologue. You have 90 seconds to tell your story. Ready? Go. All right. I already know I'm looking out at a sea of deer in the headlight looks, except for a few of you who've already been through this process. So I'll tell you what, I'll go first. Let's say we're talking about branding me today. So somebody time me. So who am I? I don't know. Many years ago, I was born premature and was lucky enough to be one of the ones who survived. But I had a laundry list of learning disabilities and social dysfunction. But I was blessed to encounter so many challenges and obstacles in my life, and I had no other choice but to stand up and fight against the odds because my family depended on me. I was forced to become courageous. Life was never easy for me. Over time, I learned that my disabilities were actually my special abilities, and they helped me to see opportunities and to seize them passionately. So I have experienced a life rich in adversity, growth, change, and lived a life with more amazing experiences than most people. I was gifted with the ability to see people at their highest and best. And when no one else, not even they, could see their possibilities, I could see it all clearly and map. I could see the map to get them from here to there. And so I started my journey of helping others achieve their highest and best. I use my gifts and abilities to help people like you to live a better life, your best life, and make the world a better place. This is my life's mission. But it's not for everyone. I only help others who are passionate about what they want to accomplish in this life. Let's say you wanted to work with me. Then you would have to be able to see you like I'm able to see you at your highest and best. And if you're willing and able to do the work, then we can work together step for step and get you from where you are to where you want to be. That's what I do. What do you want out of this life? Now, I don't know how long that was, but somewhere around 80 seconds. So get to your note-taking equipment and write out your 90-second script, and I'll give you 5 minutes. Ready? Go. Okay, time's up. You don't have to complete this right now, but you do need to do this before you can effectively be a teacher or offer your assistance to others. Now let's take a look at your 20 to 30 second elevator pitch. Once you have your 90-second life story, you can whittle it down to what we call an elevator pitch, which is 20 to 30 seconds in length. Pretend like you just stepped into an elevator and you have 20 to 30 seconds to give your spiel. Like, I might trim mine down to go something like this. Hi, I'm David M. Masters. I'm a transfiguration specialist. I help people to envision and achieve their highest and best. I do this using innate special gifts and abilities combined with a lifetime of vast experiences, both which I've gone through personally, as well as from a lifetime of doing this work with others. In doing so, I help people like you transform that into a higher version of yourself, enabling you to live a better life, your best life, and make the world a better place. Okay, now it's on you. Take 5 minutes to refine what you do for others, your area of expertise, and whittle it down to 20 to 30 second speech. Ready? Go. You're probably wondering what I'm up to here, why I'm moving you through these processes, and those of you who have taken my Branding Masters course, you know exactly what's coming up, because right now we're downshifting into making you an expert in your field. Now I want you to be ready in that moment when lightning strikes for you to become a worldwide phenomenon, when you get your 15 minutes of fame. For you online, if we were live, we'd take a few minutes and go around the room and listen to sob stories when students could have had access to huge media event, but they were not prepared. From this point in time on forward, you will be ready. What am I talking about? I'm talking about that moment in time when you're walking down the street, minding your own business, and you hear alarms and see a bank robbery in progress. Just as the news van pulls up. The talent and cameramen are going to jump out of the van, spot you, with the intent of asking you about the event. You'll get a microphone shoved in your face, and they'll ask you, "What's your name?" Then they'll ask you, "What do you do?" And then they will ask you what you saw. And starting at that exact time and continuing for at least up to 72 hours, people are Googling your name and what you do. This is the world we live in. Those of you who are joining us online tonight, when that happens to you, you'll be ready. If you have the answers to these two questions, and trust me, you think you might have the answers, but you don't, unless you've taken my class before. Let's take a look at the first one, your name. There's a pretty good chance that your name, the name you go by now, is never going to work for you. Why? Because you do not own yourname.com. Why do you think I introduced myself as David M. Masters? Why don't I just use the name David Masters without the M? Well, because davidmasters.com wasn't available. Someone else already had that, so I had to go get davidmmasters.com because it was available. And if it wouldn't have been, I would have tried davidmichaelmasters.com. If that wasn't available, I would have gotten some other variation like Davidario Masters, if I could get that davidariomasters.com, and I would have changed my name to that. So your assignment is to search for available.coms and acquire a name that you can live with for the rest of your life. And if you're one of the lucky ones, there's always at least one, usually a few more, who can get their name.com on the first try. If so, good for you. All right, you're getting me? Good. Let's keep rolling. How about your answer to what do you do? It's not going to be an easy answer, as you might think. Why? Let me give you a hint. We just talked about it. Now you got it. You got to get the .com that says what you do. And of course, a whole world of people have beat you to the punch on that one. So you're going to have to get even more creative to find a something.com that you will represent what you do. We can use me as an example again because I eat my own cooking. I'm a transfiguration specialist. Any idea why I'm a transfiguration specialist? Yeah, you know. I got transfigurationspecialist.com, and since I have the ability to see people at their highest best and map from here to there, it's a perfect name for what I do. Plus, I'm the only transfiguration specialist out there. Unless I've trained you to be one too, which is a whole other topic about branding yourself and multiplying your gifts and abilities by duplicating your efforts and training others to do the work that you do. So you get those two .coms, who you are and what you do. And when lightning strikes, you'll be ready, even if you have only rudimentary websites out there. And here's another tip for owning what you do.com from one of my students. He called into a national radio talk show to comment on a topic. They asked him two questions. What is your name and what do you do? Only on the show, they only introduced him by his first name, and that was their policy. But when they announced what he did, he talked for a few minutes, and as soon as he finished his talk, his phone started ringing, and it kept ringing for the next 72 hours. He could not have paid enough money for that kind of promotion. Now, you are accessible, but you're not really a recognized expert. So there's one more piece which is going to put you over the top in your area of expertise. You've probably already talked about it, or maybe someone who's close to you has already given you this advice, but today you're putting this project into motion. Let me ask you this. Have you ever said, I could write a book? Or has anyone ever said, you could write a book? Now, at first blush, writing a book sounds like a daunting task, but don't let that get in your way. This is your life's calling, your purpose, message, passion, and mission. People are desperate to hear what you have to say, and some of them have lives hanging in the balance. There's no better way to establish yourself as an expert in your field as in the writing and publishing of a book. And as the author of a book on what you do, or something that you believe in, is the fastest and easiest way to undeniably establish yourself as an expert. There are many ways to write a book quickly. I've interviewed a client for 8 hours, wrote and published a book from that interview. While my students watched, I wrote and published a book, and students could walk into any Barnes & Noble in the world and most other bookstores and get that book in less than 72 hours. Bam! And it's not just because I'm anyone special. It's really just because I'm courageous. And if I've learned anything in this life, if someone tells me I can't do something, well, I probably can. And if someone dares me to do something, like my students who dared me to write that book in 72 hours, well, you got to take the dare, right? And I'm the author of the 7-Day Author. You can write and publish your book in 7 days. And no, I haven't written a book about the 72-hour deals. So decide as quickly as possible on a title for your book. Make sure it contains one or more keywords that relate to you and what you do. And put it on your name.com website. Put on there that you're the author of the upcoming book, the name of your book, and what you do. You can get traction and increase your credibility just by saying you're working on the book, as it's a work in progress and has yet to be published. It's a lot easier and faster to write and publish a book today, and it doesn't have to be a literary masterpiece. Here's another hot tip for establishing you as an expert and racking up your credibility even more while empowering you to write your book quickly and easily. Write a blog. A blog is like an online diary or space where you share your thoughts on particular topics. Your blog posts are accessible by others who Google you or the topics you write about. Blog 500 words every day for a month, maybe a month and a half, and you've got your book. Put them together and publish your book on Amazon for free. There you go. Buy one copy of the book, take a picture of you holding the book, put that picture on your website with the link to your Amazon book. Bam! You're an expert in your field. Now to review, the 5 steps to be an expert in your field blueprint, they are your 90-second life story, your 20 to 30-second elevator pitch, your name.com, whatyoudo.com, and write and publish your book. Start your new career today. At St. Paul's Free University, we specialize in making you the master of your story, your life, and your message by making you an expert in your field. Not only do we give you the tools to become an expert in your field, but if you become a part of our team, we also provide a power platform for you to be able to help others exponentially and to be remunerated for your efforts handsomely. You're under no obligation to work with us. This event is our gift to you because the world needs you now more than ever. But if we're a match, and you want to help us, help you and others achieve their highest and best, then by all means, don't let anything stand between us here today. Today you have everything you need to get started teaching while embracing your gifts, skills, and special abilities as only you can as an expert in your field. Be sure to send an email to admin@stpaulsfreeuniversity.com and give us your full name, the way you'd like it to appear on your certificate, and your mailing address, and we will send you your teacher certification to verify your attendance here today and to empower you to step out, share your message, and live out your life's purpose. If you'd like to start a new career as an instructor at St. Paul's Free University, taking an active part in all the latest emerging technologies while singing your song as only you can with the support of all of us lifting you up and supporting your efforts with everything we have, then you want to take our Instructor Masterclass, which will launch your new career into orbit in a powerful way. Now, the Masterclass is not free. It's $5,000 for the 10-week course, but because you're here with us today, we're in this together. I mean, we're here amidst this coronavirus crisis. We're all in the same boat. We're settled in and may find ourselves sheltered in place at any moment. So here's what we're going to do today. If you decide to join us today and enroll in our Instructor's Masterclass, we're going to let you attend the classes for $1,000. That's $100 per week, and you can pay as you go. And I'll tell you what, I'll make it even better for you. If you pay up front for all 10 weeks, you get $100 off if you do that today. And if you're enthusiastic about working with us and know other people who might like to join us, we'll give you $100 credit toward your course for every person that you bring online. So you could get your classes for free just by inviting your friends. And if this is your calling and you're at a place where it's just not possible to afford this powerful Instructor's Masterclass, scholarships are available as well. Just let one of us know and we'll get you started on that path. And if you haven't taken one of our classes, you may have no idea what's ahead. But this thing I know, you'll be amazing. And you'll have all of our resources for you to use in support of your purpose, message, passion, and mission. This is a no-fail proposition. St. Paul's Free University is not like other leading learning institutions where you pay a lot of money to sit in class and learn from a professor who's just coasting along in life because they paid their dues or have a sense of entitlement. You're not going to just walk away with a degree left to your own devices to figure out what to do with it. You're becoming a part of our team, and we're becoming a part of yours. But there will be work. There are no fraternity parties, though we like to have fun. And you'll be able to learn valuable tools and techniques in new and different ways that you wouldn't have access to anywhere else. So if you really want to take the next step and start that next chapter in your life, then sign up today, save some money, empower yourself to live a better life, your best life, and make the world a better place. I'm David M. Masters with St. Paul's Free University, and I hope you'll join me for our next Instructor Masterclass. And if you'd like to know more, you can contact any of our instructors here today, or you can get a hold of me at davidmmasters.com. Go forth with all your gifts and special abilities and help those who are in desperate need of what you have to offer and make the world a better place.